Good morning or afternoon or whatever time it is. Welcome to Bite Size PD. We've got 15 minutes, so we better get started. I went ahead and put a link into the chat. So if you could go ahead and pull up this Google form and I'll put it in there again. You are going to vote for what kind of PD you would like to bite into today. So we're going to look over our options while you guys are kind of looking at the Google form and voting. And again, it's 15 minutes. We'll do as many as we can. And so we have this do now, thin slides, using your tech coordinator, the game of quotes, brain dumps, Iron Chef, the Great American Race, share and compare, friend emojis, sketch and tell, waterfall, and math write about it. So these are our options for today. Again, it's going to be a quick session to where you're going to learn a couple quick ways to implement different strategies into your classroom. And while we're waiting for those votes to come in, feel free to share where you're joining from in the chat. Would love to know who's watching and where you're watching from. And we've got responses coming in right now. We are pretty even. So, oh man, we're at a three-way tie. So we're going to need someone to break that tie. And again, you can vote as many times as you want, and we will see where we get started. All right, it looks like option 4 is winning right now, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with that. However, option 5 and option 6 might come into play. If you've never joined us, here's the Google form, and you're just going to pick which number option goes with the one that sounds interesting to you, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So again, option 4. So right here is game of quotes. This one is an Edu Protocol activity. I'm going to throw in the link into the chat so you can use the resource or recreate for your own classroom. So game of quotes is a fun way to see if students are reading their AR books or their silent reading books or maybe any type of book. And so what you're going to do is you give students a couple minutes to look into their books. So they're going to start by coming into class and they're going to just silent read for that time, maybe while you're getting things ready for the day. After about 10 minutes, you're going to show the students a card. So the card will be revealed onto the screen so every student knows what they're looking for. Once they see that card, they're going to look in their book for that word, that phrase, that quote. Maybe they're looking for multiple sentences from the text to match that prompt. So right here is like some of the prompts. And again, you could make up your own prompts. These are just examples that I found off of this blog post. So this blog post goes into more detail if you need more examples on how to use this game. Okay, so once students have that quote, so for example, the last thing that a bug has, the last thought the bug had before hitting the windshield. Students are going to look in their reading book for that quote, that phrase, that word that goes along with that saying or that whatever. So like one of them's really funny. It's like a quote that sounds better when Minnie Rouse reads it in her voice. So again, you can make any of these up to fit your classroom. And so when the first student says, I've got it, then you start a 2-minute timer. So the student says, I've got it. I'm going to say this quote, this phrase, or multiple sentences that go along with that bug hitting the windshield. Then you set the timer for other students and they get 2 minutes. When the timer runs out of time, the readers are going to share from the book where they found their example of what that goes with. Okay, and then the students will vote. So they're going to vote for who had the best submission, and that person gets a point. And again, you can keep doing multiple rounds. You could do every Friday is a new round. You can customize this for your students and how you need it to be run. So Game of Quotes is such a fun activity for you to do with your students. Okay, go ahead and vote again. I'm going to throw in the link to the Google form again. And we'll see which one is our second round winner. And now we're at a four-way tie. Man, you guys are really tough. Okay, it looks like option 6. Let's go ahead and dig into option 6. However, keep voting because I'm sure we'll have some more rounds as we're only 5 minutes into this. I just forgot which one. Option 6, that's right. All right, so option 6, Iron Chef. Iron Chef is another Edu protocol. And I want to really quickly shout out on YouTube. If you go to Global GEG's page and you're interested in all of these different Edu protocols, because we just went over 2 of them, there are right here. So you want to try Edu protocols. There's 3 different videos that go over all of these amazing protocols, and you can view the whole playlist here. And if you click one of the videos, if you go into the timestamps, you can go straight to that part. So here's Iron Chef, and you can watch it with students. Okay, so if you need more help with Iron Chef, there is a video. It's in round 1. And then you're going to go to this one, 55. We're at 55 minutes and 33 seconds, and you can watch Iron Chef with some students. Okay. So Iron Chef, I'm going to go ahead and put the link into the chat. And on here, I have another video that goes over how to use it. I have a student example and then the original template. Okay. Also on here, you can kind of see pictures of students working in groups together. This was pre-COVID, so they didn't have to wear those masks. However, we've done this during COVID, and it works out just fine as well. So Iron Chef is a jigsaw type of activity. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and click on this template. I'm going to make a copy. And as the teacher, what you're going to do is with your Iron Chef, you are going to go in and you can create different prompts if you want to, or you can kind of leave it open-ended. So this one was about civil rights. And so on this one, the students had to find a YouTube video was their secret ingredient. And so with that one, the kids had to do that. This one, they had to find a GIF or Google Drawing. With this one, they had to come up with 3 bullet points about the civil rights. And this one was 3 vocabulary words. Again, the kids never learned this topic. It was brand new to them. So we kind of left it open-ended just to see what they would explore and what they would come to find out. So such a fun way. And then the students, each student takes a slide. You're working in groups of 4 typically. And so each member takes a slide, and then each student comes up with their 3 bullet points or whatever their special ingredients is for their slide. And then they can add their image as well on the slide. And then they present their final project to the class. And I'm getting a error message. Let me check an incognito window. Well, it's making me sign in. Let me try on another account. It's working for me. So let me try this link again. And if it's not working, please send me a screenshot on Twitter. I'll put my Twitter handle, and then I'll make sure you get the resources. I don't know if anyone else is having issues or if it's just you. Okay, so with Iron Chef, again, so many different ways to do this. And on here, I'm going to go ahead and search Iron Chef, because there's a couple different ways that you could do this. I've done it with staff as a technology coordinator. So when I'm working with staff, I will have the teachers do this to re-show what they've learned. I'm going to figure out what's going on with that error. So let me do that after we get through all this. But here you can see, so like, what are your responsibilities as a BLT member? They had to go over and talk about what were their responsibilities. And it was just a great recap of what they learned during this training. So this is a staff example. Again, adults kind of did this. There's so many different examples that kids could do this with. Let's see here. This one's like types of governments. And I can put this link into the chat if you want to view more on using this one with like a social studies classroom. And right here, you can just see like monarchy, The kids would go in, write the definition, example governments, describe it in 4 sentences, and then their special ingredient was problems being addressed. So again, this one had the same exact secret ingredient throughout the whole Iron Chef. And then also in here, like we've done one with, this is a student example. We've done one with the Mayas, Incas, Aztecs, and Mississippians. And so students had to tell the difference on the governments, and then they had to decide which one they would rather live in based on the information given above. And so this was just a really fun one where they had to quickly look over the information and then they had to say why. So when they were presenting, they didn't necessarily present on this slide. They presented on this slide, the would you rather, and they had to explain why they picked that one. So some of them were like, well, I didn't like that they gave animal sacrifices, so that's why I picked this option, or whatever the reason was. Let me find the blank copy of that one, and I could throw that one in the chat as well. But just so many different ideas on using these in your classrooms. And it's such a fun way for students in order to review information and there's that one. And to review what they need to learn throughout the class period. And again, you can make up your own prompts as you see fit for your students. All right, we're gonna keep on rolling. I also real quick saw Jamboard. You could use Iron Chef with Jamboard as well. I'll put this link in the chat. But there's so many different ways that you can use Iron Chef. It does not always have to be a Google slide. It could be on paper if you didn't want it to be digital. And Kim Vogie, she has this awesome resource where she's doing an Edu Protocol of the Week. And she has a ton of ideas on using Iron Chef in your classroom. Yeah, and I will figure out what is going on with my website. I don't know exactly what's going on, but I will look into it. All right, let's keep on voting because we only have a few more minutes. And again, I'm going to throw that link into the chat. And while you guys are voting, probably for the final one, because this is only 15 minutes, I'm going to real quick check out what's going on with this website. Let's see if I can check out. Well, it's restricted. That's probably why. And I'm going to change that to public. Okay, you guys should have access now. Let me republish everything. Okay. All right, that link should work now. If somebody could let me know, that would be awesome. I don't know how it got unpublished. All right, let me exit out of some of these tabs as well. Okay, so we've done options. Let's see here. I think we did option 5. That wasn't that one. Good. I'm glad it's working. All right. As I'm trying to pull up the presentation again, let's see where we're at. All right, so we did 4. It looked like 5 was winning. Yep, it looks like option 5. Okay, so option 5 is brain dumps. One of the best ways for retrieval practice is to do a quick brain dump. And this post was actually from, let me change the sharing settings so we don't have any issues again. All right, there's the link. Okay, so brain dumps this template was actually created by Meredith Akers. She is amazing. You should follow her on Twitter. And with this activity, students have a Google slide. Again, you could do this non-digital if you totally wanted to. It does not have to be digital. And so once you have a brain dump, you will have the students write down everything that they can remember about a topic. So when their brain sometimes struggles to remember something, it does better the next time if they have this chance to do a brain dump. There's a lot of learning science behind brain dumps, and they're really good for kids. And again, this can take up to 5 minutes. It doesn't have to take over your whole class period. So the first 30 seconds, students will write down everything that they can remember. So here's an example, 3D shapes. So you're going to put like everything this person knows about 3D shapes. On this template, students are working in the same slide deck. So every single student would get a different slide, and then they put their name and their topic here. Okay. Once their name and their topic is on there, they will then have that 30 seconds to write down everything that they can remember. And again, you're just going to pull up Google and type in 30-second timer, and you can just use this timer right here. While that timer is going, kids are writing down what they remember about 3D shapes. Okay. And so they're working really quickly. The first time might be a little rough, but after you do this activity more and more, it's going to get better each and every time. Okay. Then they're going to stretch their brain for 1 minute and think hard to remember more. Okay. So students will then have another minute. So you're going to use Google again. And they're going to write as much as they can remember again. So this was the 30 seconds. Now they have a minute, and they're really going to go deep into what have they really learned. Then on the last 2 minutes, they're going to be able to peek at their classmates' brain dump and write things that they remember for 2 more minutes. So I'm going to go over here to slide 7. I'm going to look at my friend who did this for 30 in 1 minute. And I'm going to check out what they wrote, and I can go down as many times as I need to. And then in this column, I can say, oh yeah, I remember this. And you're able to kind of quickly write in that information as needed. So great way to get those retrieval things going. You could even do this. Maybe you've already taught 3D shapes. Bring it back up. So doing that spiral review to help students really learn and to continue that learning so that they're not just stuck on different material. So they're really spiraling that review. And then over on this side, there's just different timers. If you need a timer, they're built in too, or you could just do a Google search. And then just remind your students to put their name, and they're all working in that same document. Again, you could do this totally on paper and just print one of these, and then the kids would just kind of switch with each other. Maybe they could do like a sketchnoting brain dump where they're like sketching out what's happening. So many different ways to look at brain dumps and what students need to do. And Kim, I will look on my website and share whatever needs access. But I hope you enjoyed the bite-sized PD today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter at MrsHal24, and I'll throw that in the chat. And happy to reshare any of these templates or share any of the information that you might have missed. So I look forward to connecting, and we will schedule the next bite-sized PD later, probably next month. So thanks for joining.